Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. In this video I'll be taking you guys through the paintwork on this VESS Holden Commodore painted in Voodoo Blue, paint code 608R, Holden manufacturer. So if you guys are looking for this internationally, type in Holden and 608R as a paint code, you should be able to find it. So it's a pretty nice car, this one. Main reason I thought I'd make a video for you guys for this one is just because of the colour of the car, and I know a lot of people like watching some of these cool colours being painted. So take you right through the paintwork. As you can see, the prep work's already been done. Took it in the booth, masked it up. So on this job we're going to be painting just the lower section of this boot lid and the inside as well, or the trunk as you American guys may call it. And we're doing the back panel there, the lower on that back panel, and also the rear bumper bar. So using some wax and grease remover here on these degreasing cloths, these lint free cloths there. Just a bit of wax and grease remover, wipe on and then wipe off. Using the Standox wax and grease remover, it's a good quality one. Seems to get all the contaminants off really nicely. And it's very rare that you end up with silicon contamination on your panel. So next up I'm using the tack cloth, the yellow tack cloth. We've got yellow and blue. The blue ones are more designed for base coat, the yellow ones are more designed for a pre-tack. Sometimes I actually have a yellow and a blue in the booth at the same time and tack rag it with the yellow first and then a blue before I clear it. If needed, I don't always tack rag before I do clear coat, and this job I didn't end up doing it. It wasn't necessary. The metallic was laying on nicely, and there's no real coarse metallic in it that's going to turn into bits of dust. So just using the DeVilbiss GTI Pro with the T2 air cap on it for this job. Pretty standard settings I'm using on the gun. Just have that for base coat. I like to have the fluid wound right out, and that allows you to get the paint on nice and quickly, get a lot of fluid on quick. Have that fan wound right open and set the pressure setting to around 20 to 25 psi. It's going to run pretty fine. A lot of this trade is just seeing how it's going on and trial and error. Back when I started this trade, I never even used to run regulators on my guns, and that was mainly because the tradesmen that I worked under never used regulators on their guns. So I guess when you're an apprentice, you just follow what the guys above you do, and I just learnt to spray paint just off feel. So I think it's very important to get the feel. Like don't feel as if this gun has to be set up. If you watch my videos and you're like, oh well, the Gunman, he sets his gun up like this, but it's not working for me. You've got to just play around with those settings. You know, you might find 25 psi is just creating too much overspray. Back the pressure off a bit, back it down to 20, and see how it starts going on. And yeah, just that's my best advice to you guys about gun settings. It's not 100%. You may get different results depending on the temperature. You might want to wind that fluid back in. You might find you're getting runs. I mean, that's why I do wind it right out with my base coat, because it's quite rare that you're going to get runs in your base coat. You're not going to put it on heavy enough to get runs. And it does dry quite quickly, the base coat. You're more likely to get runs in your clear coat. So yeah, after that first coat, you can see I didn't even cut anything out. I put my first coat on and went straight back around, and that second coat was right to go straight on. That's because it's quite a warm day here at the moment. You might have noticed I'm not wearing my spray suit today. That's not really a big deal. I ended up getting an extremely clean job. I might have got a tiny little bit of overspray on myself, but not much, because we do have complete downdraft booth here that I'm working in, and the paint doesn't linger around for very long, so it's not a major issue. So I did give it a couple of minutes in between that second and third coat. That's why you see me pause the video and put a transition in just there. Because once there's more paint on there, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. As you saw, the first coat, that dried straight up because there's not as much build of paint up there. So just making sure I get the inside done as well. Main reason we're just doing the inside of that boot, the lower section of that boot was save a lot of time. It's got a big spoiler on this car, and there's a bit of a line that we were able to mask through without compensating the quality of the job. I just did some false edge masking over that line, and it polished up quite nicely, as you'll be able to see at the very end. Also got a little bit of a trick for getting the gloss level correct on the inside of that boot. I think from factory they try to save a couple of dollars by not putting a full nice coat of clear coat on the inside of the boot, so that just creates an effect that we've got to try to replicate, and I'll show you exactly how I do that when I'm clear coating. So that's our third coat of base coat you've seen me put on now. I'm going to go over and just put one more effect coat over the top of that. So you can see I'm just giving it a little bit of a blow down with the air just to let it completely tack off before I put my last coat on. Just making sure all that inside there is covered up with the base coat, and then just putting our effect coat on. You can see it's not on quite as heavy as the other couple of coats, just moving that gun a little bit quicker. So you can hold the gun back a little bit sometimes too. Some people find that helps, just to help let that base coat drop on a bit more. And yeah, just monitor it and see how it's going. A colour like this really isn't going to turn mottly or anything like that. It's more the lighter colours that'll do that. So for this job I used the DeVilbiss GTI Pro Lite with the TE10 air cap, which a lot of my other videos are using the TE20. A couple of guys have made some comments on Facebook and on my videos. They'd like to see me use the TE10, see what my opinion on that gun is and some settings that I use on it. So here we go. After we've put this last coat on here, we'll be using the TE10 air cap on the Pro Lite. And the settings I like to use on this, have that fan wound right open, fluid, because it's quite a warm day this day. As you can see, as you saw earlier, the base coat's drying so quick, and I think ambient temperature was actually quite warm, 39 degrees. So when you're clear coating at that kind of temperature, you want to wind the fluid out a bit. So I actually had it at 3.5 turns out on the fluid, so wind that fluid right in and then come out 3.5 turns. Full fan, as I mentioned before, and pressure settings, you don't need it quite as high as the T2, which you saw me use on the base, and you don't need it quite as high as the TE20 or the HVLP air cap, which is a HV30 for this gun. I like to use it between 22 and 18 psi. I've found different finishes easily replicated with this gun. I didn't use it that much at the start because the TE20's got bigger air holes in it. It passes more air, gets more fluid on. I like it, and you can move a little bit quicker. But after using it, I used the gun, this air cap, for a whole week. This is one of the guns, one of the jobs I painted with it, and it's actually a really good air cap. So, you know, if you guys are hobbyists or something like that, I would highly recommend getting this cap. If you just have a small air compressor at home or something like that, you may not be able to run the TE20 or the HV30 air cap, and it is quite versatile, this air cap too. You can get basically all the finishes you want. You can get from the Japanese to the Australian to the American, or you can get the European finishes with this air cap if you know how to use it correctly. So drop that fluid out a bit for the more thick orange peel that you use on the that you're wanting to replicate on the European cars, wind that fluid in for the Japanese cars and the sort of more Australian American style orange peels too. So this is what I'm doing on the inside of the boot lid. You saw me give just the inside of this boot lid a real quick dust coat of clear, and now I'm using in my minigun. I just bought this new minigun, actually it's pretty cool, and that's a 1.2 mil fluid needle and tip on it. All I've got in this gun is just some blending reducer, so that's AK350 DuPont. You can also get that in an aerosol can, so it's what I blend clear out with a lot of the time. If you guys see me do some spot repairs and blends up pillars, that's the product. So it's spot blender in the Glazerite range, or yeah, as I say, blending thinner. And that just about nailed the gloss level and the orange peel for the inside of that boot lid. And because they do, a lot of these newer cars, they just try to save a couple of dollars on their materials, and they just put one pissy little coat of clear in there, and it's sort of not full gloss in there. So back on with this job. Yeah, as I said before, you can really nail just about any orange peel with this gun. It's really a good all-rounder gun. I'd recommend it to new guys into the trade as well. If you, as I say though, if you've got more than enough air pressure and you work in a workshop environment, say you're an apprentice or something like that, maybe the TE20 is the better air cap for you to get used to. Yeah, the hobbyist with small compressors, absolutely go for this. Even some of the Anesti waters, the holes on the air cap are a bit bigger, so you might find that you need a bigger compressor to run it. But this gun's a great all-round gun. Can be used for base coat, clear coat, non-sanding primers, sealers, just about any paint that is thin enough to flow through the fluid needle. Hang around for a couple more minutes. We've got a quick look at the car when it's all finished off. I'll give you a look at the gun there too. It's a pretty nice looking gun there. GTI Pro Lite. In America that's called the Tekna Pro Lite. It's exactly the same gun, different name. I think your one's black too. That's about all. So this job came out extremely clean. Really not much dust in there. Considering I wasn't wearing any overalls and I did it pretty quickly, it came out really clean. It's quite surprised even myself. I expected maybe a couple more bits of dust in it, but yeah, you take them. I found sometimes in summer, because you're spending less time in the booth, it's just bang, 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 put the coats on, get out. I found I actually get cleaner jobs in summer. I love painting in summer. I love painting full stop, as you guys obviously already know, but summer's the time for me. So there you go, you can see that colour's real nice. Where I bought my colour, the whole way around that bumper bar, improvement on what was on there before, and customers should be real happy with their car. Hang around, check out these couple of links at the end. We've got that Shark Blue VW Golf, check that out, that's the TE20 air cap. Otherwise you can check out the Supernova review and demo from the Anesti Water. Thanks again for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.